Good morning, fourth grade. Chapters 8 and 9 today should almost bring us to the end of the book. It is Wednesday. Jack jumped behind the magnolia tree. His heart was beating so fast he could hardly think. He peeked out at the giant monster. The horrible-looking creature was opening and closing his huge jaws. His teeth were as big as steak knives. Don't panic, Jack thought. Think. He peered down at the valley. Good, the duck-billed dinosaurs were sticking close to their nest. Jack looked back. The monster still didn't seem to know that he was hiding there. Don't panic. Think. Maybe there's information in the book. Jack opened the dinosaur book. He found the Tyrannosaurus Rex page. He read, Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of the largest meat-eating land animals of all times. If it were alive today, it would eat humans in one bite. Great, thought Jack. This book was no help at all. Jack tried to think clearly. He couldn't hide on the other side of the hill. The Ankylosaurus might stampede. He couldn't run to the treehouse. The Tyrannosaurus might run faster. Maybe he should just wait for the monster to leave. Jack peeked around the tree. The Tyrannosaurus had wandered closer to the hill. Something caught Jack's eye. Annie was coming down the rope ladder. Is she nuts? What is she doing? Jack wondered. Jack watched Annie hop off the ladder. Annie hurried over to Pteranodon. She was talking to him. She was flapping her arms. She was pointing at Jack. She was pointing at the sky and then at the treehouse. Now this is a good time for you guys to make some predictions. What do you predict the Pteranodon's going to do? What do you think Annie's telling the Pteranodon? And how is Jack going to get out of this trouble? I bet you can already guess. If you looked at the cover of the book, it gave you a big hint at what might happen next. She is nuts, Jack thought. Go back up in the tree, Jack whispered. Go. Jack heard a roar. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was looking in his direction. Jack hit the ground. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was coming towards the hill. Jack felt the ground shaking. What should I do? Jack wondered. Should I run? Crawl back to Dinosaur Valley? Climb the magnolia tree? Suddenly, a giant shadow covered Jack. He looked up. The Pteranodon was gliding overhead. The giant creature sailed toward the top of the hill. He was heading towards Jack. Chapter 9, The Amazing Ride. The Pteranodon coasted down to the ground. He stared at Jack with his bright, alert eyes. What was Jack supposed to do? Climb on? Question mark? That's a question. He's thinking, should I climb on? But I'm too heavy, thought Jack. Jack looked at the Pteranodon. It was the Tyrannosaurus, It was starting up the hill. Its giant teeth were flashing in the sunlight. Okay, thought Jack, don't think, just do it. Jack put his book in his pack. Then he climbed on the Pteranodon's back. He held on tightly. The creature moved forward. He spread his wings and lifted off the ground. Could you imagine actually flying on an ancient dinosaur? Jack nearly fell off as they teetered this way and that. The Pteranodon steadied himself and rose into the sky. Jack looked down. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was staring up at him and chomping in the air. The Pteranodon glided away. He sailed over the hilltop and over the valley. He circled above the duck-billed dinosaurs and all the nests filled with babies. Then the Pteranodon soared out over the plain, over the Triceratops, who was grazing in the high grass. Jack felt like a bird. The wind was rushing through his hair. The air smelled sweet and fresh. Jack whooped and laughed. He couldn't believe it. He was riding on the back of an ancient flying reptile. The Pteranodon sailed over the stream and over the ferns and bushes. Then he carried Jack down to the base of the oak tree. When they came to a stop, Jack slid off the creature's back and landed on the ground. The Pteranodon took off again and glided into the sky. Bye, Henry, called Jack. Jack, are you okay? Annie shouted from the treehouse. Jack pushed his glass into place. He kept staring at the Pteranodon. Jack, Annie called. Jack looked up at Annie. He smiled. Thanks for saving my life, he said. That was really fun. Thank Henry, not me, she said. Come on, climb up. Jack tried to stand. His legs were wobbly. He felt a bit dizzy. Hurry, shouted Annie. It's coming. Jack looked around. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was headed straight towards him. Jack bolted to the ladder. He started climbing. Hurry, hurry, screamed Annie. Jack reached to the top and scrambled into the treehouse. It's coming towards the tree, Annie cried. The dinosaur slammed against the oak tree. The treehouse shook like a leaf in the wind. Jack and Annie tumbled into the books. Make a wish to go home, cried Annie. We need the book, the Pennsylvania book, said Jack. Where is it? They both searched madly around the treehouse. Found it, said Jack. He grabbed the book and flipped it through the pages. He found the photograph of Frog Creek Woods. Jack pointed to the picture of the book. I wish we could go home, he shouted. The wind began to blow. Jack closed his eyes. He held on tight to Annie. The treehouse started to spin. Read it with me. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Boy, there's only one chapter left. Sure wish we could read it, but you'll have to wait till tomorrow.